Hello students, in today's video let us discuss the carrier concentration in an extrinsic semiconductor. So in the last class we have discussed about the concentration of electrons and holes in semiconductors. The general equations for the electron density was obtained as n is equal to Nc into exponential minus of Ec minus Ef by Kt, where Nc is a constant defined by 2 into 2 pi Me star Kt divided by h square whole raised to 3 by 2. Similarly, the equation for the hole concentration P was derived as Nv into exponential minus of Ef minus Ev divided by Kt, where Nb was defined as Nb equal to 2 into 2 pi mh star Kt divided by h square whole raised to 3 by 2. Similarly, we also studied about the positions of the Fermi level in the case of an N-type and P-type semiconductor. In the case of an intrinsic semiconductor, Fermi level almost lie in between, exactly in the middle of conduction band and the valence band. Ec plus Ev by 2 plus Kt 3 by 4 K, 3 Kt by 4 log mh star by Me star is the equation. Almost at the middle of the conduction band and the valence band we find Fermi level for an intrinsic semiconductor. But in the case of an N-type semiconductor or P-type semiconductor, Fermi level moves towards the conduction band or towards the valence band. So the equation for the Fermi level was derived as Fn. Fermi level of an N-type semiconductor is found in between the donor level and the conduction band by 2 plus Kt by 2 log Nd by Nc. Similarly, the equation for the Fermi level of a P-type semiconductor was derived as E A plus Ev by 2 plus Kt by 2 log Na by Nb. So we have these equations in our hand, and if you substitute for the Fermi level in the case of an N-type and P-type semiconductors, that is our equation 3 and 4, into the previous equations 1 and 2, here you have Ef, right? Instead of the Fermi level, if you substitute the Fermi level for an N-type semiconductor and P-type semiconductor here, you can actually derive an equation for the concentration of electrons and holes in an N-type and P-type semiconductor. So that is a simple substitution. You can just put for Ef this equation 3, and in the case of a P-type semiconductor you can substitute for Ef this equation 4. So substituting and solving like that, you can derive a general equation for concentration of electrons in an N-type semiconductor, which is given by root of Nd Nc into exponential minus of Ec minus Ed by 2 Kt. You can also substitute for Nc. So this is the equation for the electron concentration in an N-type semiconductor. So you can just substitute equation 3 in 1 and try to cancel out certain terms and solve to get this equation. Similarly, in the case of a P-type semiconductor, the concentration of holes, its equation can be derived as root of Na into Nb into exponential minus of Ea minus Ev divided by 2 kT. So these are the general equations for the electron concentration and hole concentration in an n-type and p-type semiconductor. So as you can see, this constant Nc is actually a function of temperature, T raised to 3 by 2. Similarly here Nb is a function of temperature. As well as in the exponential function, you can see a temperature dependence, exponential minus 1 by T. So this function of electron concentration and hole concentration is actually a temperature dependent function, and as temperature increases, the electron concentration and hole concentration will increase because these are directly proportional functions. Here Nc is proportional to T raised to 3 by 2. Similarly here a negative sign as well as an inverse is coming. So this N, the concentration of electrons will increase with temperature. Similarly the concentration of holes will increase with temperature. Now as given in this equation, at low temperature the electron concentration and hole concentration will be varying accordingly as given by this equation. Now what will happen if we continuously increase the temperature? So we have seen here we have a general equation for electrons and holes in an n-type and a p-type semiconductor, which is dependent on temperature. N is depending on temperature and P is depending on temperature. So suppose I am increasing the temperature slowly. What will happen? Electron concentration will increase, hole concentration will increase, and it will increase slowly and slowly. Suppose I increase the temperature as much as that all the acceptor atoms and all the donor atoms have completely contributed their electrons and holes. What will happen next? So that limit is called impurity exhaustion range. So what I am doing, we will be increasing the temperature until a level is reached when all the donor atoms are ionized and all the acceptor atoms are ionized in a p-type semiconductor. So here you can see the donor atoms occupy, the electrons from the donor atoms occupy the conduction level, the donor level, which is near to the conduction band, and with temperature electrons from the donor level can easily get into the conduction band and start conducting. So suppose at a particular temperature T, some of the electrons will be in the conduction band conducting, and with temperature, as temperature increases, more electrons from the donor level will move into the conduction range, starting conduction. So that will depend on this equation. As temperature increases, electron concentration and hole concentration will increase. But when temperature reaches a particular temperature, which is given by Ts, or the saturation temperature or the exhaustion temperature, all the donor atoms and all the acceptor atoms, if present, will be ionized, and there are no more electrons available to be ionized at this level. So that temperature corresponds to impurity exhaustion range. So what will be the speciality of that particular temperature? So at that particular temperature, the electron concentration will be approximately equal to the number of donor atoms, because we know the intrinsic carrier concentration is comparatively lesser and all the donor atoms are completely ionized. So as we have seen in previous derivation, the complete contribution will be due to the donor atoms because all donor atoms are completely ionized. Now we did not depend on this equation because the temperature dependence has gone. Now the full donor atoms are supplying electrons into the conduction range. We are neglecting the contribution of the intrinsic carriers. So in that case, N equal to Nd. Similarly, in the case of a p-type material, P will be equal to number of acceptor atoms, because all the acceptor atoms are ionized at that particular temperature, not ionized, have contributed their holes at that temperature, and the concentration P will now be equal to Na. So before that temperature, the hole concentration will follow this equation. So that is the concept of impurity exhaustion range. And this impurity exhaustion temperature depends on the activation energy ED or EA of a particular material and the impurities present and its concentration. So various material will have various exhaustion temperature, and sometimes the exhaustion range in the case of a germanium is just 30 Kelvin, that much low. At that temperature, all the donor atoms and all acceptor atoms will be completely contributing. So this is the speciality of impurity exhaustion range. The concentration of electrons will be simply number of donor atoms in an n-type semiconductor, and the concentration of holes will be simply the number of acceptor atoms. Now what will happen if I further increase the temperature to very high range? So as we have seen, at somewhat at the range of exhaustion temperature, electrons from the donor level will be trying to get into the conduction band. There are plenty of electrons in the valence band which is at very low energies compared to the donor level. Now these electrons cannot get into the conduction band because they require very high energy to be excited. So compared to the electrons in the donor level which are very close to the conduction band, electrons in the valence band have very low energy and they require very high energy to move into the conduction band. So if you increase temperature to very high ranges, all the electrons from the donor level will be anyway in the conduction band, and now at very high temperature these electrons from the valence band can move into the conduction band because they have got energy of the order of kBt and they can now cross this energy gap. So now at that limit, at high temperature range, the intrinsic carrier concentration will start to increase. What do you mean by intrinsic carrier concentration? The extrinsic carriers are the electrons contributed by the donor atoms or the holes contributed by the acceptor atoms. Those are the extrinsic carriers. But the electrons that are already within this metal, in the pure metal, that are present in the valence band, they correspond to the intrinsic carrier concentration. At almost low temperatures in an extrinsic semiconductor, we will neglect their contribution because they are minority. But at large temperature, they are not minority. They will start to move into the conduction band, or the holes will start to move into the valence band in more numbers, and we have to count them too. So in that case, in the case of an n-type semiconductor, N will be the intrinsic carrier concentration plus the number of donor atoms which have contributed electrons. And if Ni is very much lesser than Nd, as in the low temperature range, we have considered the low temperature range, we know intrinsic carrier concentration is relatively lower than the donor atoms. So at that limit, this will be approximately Nd itself. But at high temperature, this is not so. At high temperature, N equal to Ni plus Nd, and the intrinsic carrier concentration will be greater than Nd. Because as we have seen, all the donor atoms are exhausted, but the electrons from the valence band is now moving into the conduction band with high temperature. So Ni plus Nd will be approximately Ni at very high temperatures, and this means at very high temperature, an extrinsic semiconductor will be behaving like an intrinsic semiconductor. The extrinsic properties will tend to intrinsic property because the concentration of charge carriers is very similar to an intrinsic semiconductor at high temperature. So at these temperatures, an extrinsic and intrinsic semiconductors both will behave in a same manner. Now let us plot a graph showing the relationship between temperature and the electron concentration, the charge carrier concentration. So at low temperature, what is the equation for charge carriers? At low temperature, we have these equations. N and P depends on temperature. So as temperature increases, electron concentration or hole concentration will be going up. So first we have that range of temperature where, so this is the inverse of temperature 1 by T. So temperature increases towards the left side. So as temperature increases, we can see the concentration of electrons is going up. And these electrons or these concentration of charge carriers are provided by the impurities in the material. More number of impurity atoms will be getting ionized and more number of charge carrier concentration will be seen in the material. Now after Ts, for a particular range of temperature, there will be no dependence on temperature. As we have seen here, N and P will be a constant at T equal to Ts and in the range near to Ts. So we can see in the impurity exhaustion range, there is a constant region of concentration of charge carriers where no change is seen with respect to temperature. After that, we reach the impurity exhaustion range, which is the high temperature range. And in that range, what happens? The intrinsic carriers will start to contribute largely. That is, the electrons that are normally present in the material will start to move into the conduction band. Same as in the case of a p-type material. So the charge carrier concentration will be shooting up with temperature, and these contributions are due to intrinsic carriers, the Ni's. So here we have seen that N equal to Ni, and Ni is a function of temperature and Ni will be going up with temperature. So this is how the carrier concentration of N-type and P-type semiconductor is seen. The general equation at low temperature, we have studied that. Then there is an impurity exhaustion range at which the concentration of electrons and holes are constant. So normally at room temperature, this is the case. The impurity exhaustion range, also called extrinsic range, because this is the range where an extrinsic semiconductor behaves perfectly like an extrinsic semiconductor. At next temperature range, that property is lost. The intrinsic property starts to dominate over the material. So at this temperature N equal to Ni, Ni is a function of temperature and it varies like this as shown in this curve. Now let us also briefly discuss the effect of temperature on the Fermi level of a semiconductor. In the last unit, we have already seen the effect of temperature on the Fermi levels in the case of metals. We derived an equation showing relationship between EF and T, and we saw that there is slight shift in EF, a slight decrease in EF with temperature. Now here we will be having a qualitative analysis about the Fermi level in a semiconductor and its variation with temperature. So we have stated that in an N-type material, the Fermi level is between the donor level and the conduction band. So it is here. Similarly, in a p-type material, the Fermi level is between the acceptor level and the valence band. So it is here. Now as temperature increases to very high ranges, we know the material will be slowly getting into the intrinsic range. So we know in an intrinsic material, the Fermi level is exactly between the conduction band and the valence band, at the middle of them. So with temperature, we see a slow shift in the Fermi level. In the case of a p-type material, the Fermi level will be lowering down, and at the intrinsic range, at very high temperature, it will reach the intrinsic level of a Fermi energy at the middle of the conduction band and the valence band. Similarly, in a p-type material, normally the Fermi level is closer to the valence band, but as temperature increases, it will have a tendency to become intrinsic at very high temperature. So slowly we see a shift from the extrinsic limit to the intrinsic limit. So we can approximate that before a particular temperature, it will behave like an extrinsic material, and after that it will be going into the intrinsic range. Fermi level will be shifting like this. In the case of an N-type material, it will be going down like this, and in the case of a p-type material, the Fermi level will be shifting up like this, reaching the intrinsic level at very high temperatures. So these are the various properties that we have discussed today. we have discussed about the extrinsic carrier concentration, and we have also seen the shift in Fermi level with temperature in N and P type materials. So I hope this portion is clear for you. Thank you.